Hello everyone, my name is Maddie. I'm one of the children's librarians at the Chatham Library. I am back this week with another craft video, and this one's just a little special. We've got something special coming up. A lot of you will probably know that Harry Potter's birthday is just around the corner, so I have found a couple craft ideas that I think will go really well and a good celebration for Harry Potter's birthday. The first one that I want to do with you is making your own quill pen. You just take a regular pen, take some paper, you'll need scissors, and you'll turn it into a feather, or make it look like a feather at least. You can ruffle up the feathers as much as you want, or just leave it. And I guess we'll go ahead and just get started on this one. So what you'll need for this, any regular ballpoint pen, and white paper, and scissors, and glue, and maybe tape, depending on the best way that you can get it to stick. So I'm going to start with just regular printer paper, and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'll show you why I do that in a second. We're going to fold it in half hamburger style. There we go, hamburger, not hot dog, hamburger style. And we do that because we need two sides to the feather. If it's just one side, then the pen would show through, but we need two sides to it, and this is how we're going to make it look symmetrical, look the same on both sides. So you'll take this, and you'll need to guess about how big it needs to be. I'll show you what I did. On this one, just above, like right where the handle is, that's where I started the paper. And you can put as much space you want here, but then you've got to make that feather shape. So I'm gonna, doesn't matter whichever side you put the fold on, you put the pen at the bottom, one of the short sides. Line up where that handle is, right there. And from there, I guess I'll use this one, you just draw out the shape that you want. So I'm going to let my handle be about that tall, and then we're just going to draw a basic feather shape. So this is how tall the feather's going to be. Where the handle is, and then this is the feather shape that I drew. It doesn't have to be perfect, whatever you come up with. This was the first one I made. This one that I'm going to make is a little smaller, but that's okay. And then from there, the bottom of the feather here, those lines, draw them all the way out to the sides. So that's what you're left with. And leave the paper folded, leave it folded. You're going to cut both sides of the paper, cut out that shape, and I'll show you what we're left with. You don't have to follow those lines perfectly, that's just so you have an idea of where to cut. Obviously I did not do a fantastic job, but that's alright. So now we've got, I left the fold there for now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open it up, I'm going to take the pen and line it up on one of the sides. I'm going to make it so that the pen where I drew, I'm going to put that on the inside. So I'm going to put that side against the pen. And this is where I used tape to keep the pen secure and keep the feather on the pen. So once I lined it there at the bottom, lined it up, I put a piece of tape here so that it's connected. Alright. I guess these don't have to be connected anymore. So now I've got the two sides. And this first side, I'm gonna, one of the where the handle is going to be, down here. One of the sides can be longer, but the other one does not have to be long. So I'm going to cut it just about there. I'm going to drop my paper. And this will just wrap around the handle here. You roll it around the pen. You can use either tape or glue to secure this. I'm going to use tape for this one. There's half our feather. For the other half, we're going to just overlap it here. Try and get the tops to line up as best you can. Well, it might help. For the one that I made, I had to crease the paper around the pen so that it stuck better. I might have to go ahead and do that here. You don't cut the feathering parts until the very end, so we'll worry about that later. But kind of wrap the paper around the pen a little bit. Just so it kind of sticks out there. Alrighty, going back to attaching the other half, the other side. Once you've lined up the top here to make sure it's where you cut out, try and wrap that around the pen again on the other side. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use a glue stick and I'm just going to glue the two tops together. That's what I found to be best. So I've got my glue stick here. We're just going to put it all around the pen. It's okay if it gets on the pen or on that tape because that's not going to be visible to the outside. And then once it's all around, we're going to take our other half, line it back up as best as you can, and start at the bottom here, down here, where the bottom of the feather is, and work your way up and pinch the sides so they stay together. It's not going to be perfect. That's the fun in it. Just pinch those sides so they stay together once they're glued together. It's going to get a little crinkly up at the top, but that's just going to add more fun to your feathers, more character, as my mom would say, character. Alright, once that is done, we can take this, we'll keep one of the sides long and cut the other one short, just like we did for the other side. And we're going to do, again, the same thing. We're going to wrap it around the pen for our handle. And I'm going to use glue for this one, just to keep it secure. Wrap both sides around the handle of the pen. And if the paper's too long, you can go ahead and cut it shorter. And there's the basic shape done. Now all you have to do is add the little cuts for the feathering. And what you need to do that is you take the pen and the pointed part, put the pen away from you and the pointed part towards you, and you're going to cut in diagonals. I started with this one, I started back here and worked my way out, just so I knew that I had room and I didn't cut off the edge here. So I'm going to do the same thing and you won't have to worry about cutting all the way through because your scissors will stop around the pen. But I've cut until about as far as the scissors will let me. See, it won't let me go any further. Keep going until I can't anymore. And you continue that all the way up the sides. And when you get to the point where the pen isn't in the way anymore, then you have to pay more attention, be more careful with where you're cutting. I'm just about there, so I'll show you that. When you get there, this is going to be hard for you to see. When you get there, you stay about the same length of where you're at, where you're cutting. Keep it about the same length. And start to turn your scissors so that you're cutting more towards the pen. So this is what I've got on this side. And down here you can see well, you may not be able to see, but I cut more towards the pen. And I'm going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So it's a really kind of, it's fun to do. It's really fun to do. This craft is really fun. It's kind of difficult because I remember when I first did it, trying to get the glue to cooperate with me. It was a little difficult at first, but eventually I got it. And be very careful at the end. You don't want to cut too much or you don't want to cut yourself. And you can leave it as is, or if you want, you can ruffle up the feathers a little bit. I just run my thumb along the edge. And there you've got your own little quill so you can take notes in class. Got my brand new paper here. And I've got my paper ready to take notes and potions. That was our first craft that I've got for Harry Potter's birthday. The other craft I've got is, of course, I work at a library and I'm reading books all the time, and I've actually been needing to get a new bookmark because all I've got is just an index card. But now I'm going to show you how to make Harry Potter house bookmarks. These were really fun to make, and I had my mom help me out with them because there are 4 houses and I knew it was going to be a lot to make them. But they look really cool and they sit so nicely in your book. Just like that. Sticks out at the top. You know exactly where your page is. Perfect, right? So I've made the Hufflepuff one. I guess I'll leave this out so I can show you. I've made the Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. All I need to do left is the Gryffindor house. So I've already cut out my strips of paper. What I did is I used, where is it? My colored paper that I use for every other craft. I take a piece of paper and I kept it the same length. I'll get one out and I'll show you. They're the same length as the long edge of the paper, and I cut them to be about 1 centimeter thick. If you or anyone in your house is big on scrapbooking, my mom found this for me to use. It's a paper cutter, and it made it so much easier to get the long straight lines. If you have one of these, utilize it. It's so much easier. If not, I did make one where I just cut it out myself. It took a little bit to measure out, but I did make one where I just cut it out with scissors and I used a ruler and a pencil to mark out how it was. Or you can just cut out the lines and hope for the best. That's cool too. But I'm going to show you how to make those. It's got the kind of chevron, I think that's what they're called, that design. And you need 4 different strands, 2 different colors, 2 of each color. So I've got, for the Gryffindor, I've got 2 yellow and 2 red. I know it's technically supposed to be gold, but I don't have gold paper. So I'm going to start with the red paper, the 2 red strips, and you'll need a glue stick for this as well. The glue stick is just to keep it stronger so it doesn't fall apart as you use it. Got the glue stick here. I am going to put a piece of paper down so I don't get too much glue on my table here. Alright, I guess I'll bend this so you can see better what I'm doing. So I've got my 2 red strips first. I'm going to work with those first. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to be braiding with this. So we're going to start by taking one. We're going to take both the same color and we're going to overlap the ends so that it makes a square shape there. And I'm going to glue it down too. This one does take a little bit more time, but it was really fun to make, and now I have extra bookmarks, so I'm really glad about that. Alright, once we've got this, we can bring one of our yellow strips in, or one of the other colors. I didn't have any gray paper, so I used white and green for Slytherin, the yellow and black for Hufflepuff, and I've got the blue, and then I had a light blue color that I used for the Ravenclaw. We're gonna use the red and gold, or red and yellow, I guess, for Gryffindor. Alrighty, so then this yellow piece is gonna go right over top, and try and line it up that edge as much as you can when you glue it down. I'm using stick glue because it isn't as messy as liquid glue, but it still keeps the paper down. And there's a bit of a gap, but that's okay. I'm going to press it down so it stays. And our last strand, I wonder if it would be easier to see if I put this over black paper. Is that easier to see? Oh, just a little bit. I'll work with it. This yellow paper is going to go over top, crisscrossing, going the other direction. So you'll put glue over top both of those strands. And once again, line up this edge with this edge from the red paper. And it's not going to be perfect. That's okay. I've done this 4 times, so I'm only a little bit good at it. Alrighty, so that's how you start it out. And then you just keep folding paper and braiding it until it all comes together. So since this piece was the last one over top, we're going to take this outside piece and we're going to fold it over. So I'm going to take my glue, I'll put it over the yellow piece here where it's going to be folded over. We're going to take it and we're going to carefully fold it over, and it's going to line up with this edge here. And you can fold that edge there. Beautiful. Now we're going to go to the other side on this with this outside piece. We're going to do the same. We're going to put some glue here where it's going to be folded over. We're going to take it. We're going to fold it over and line it up with this edge piece. Press it so the glue stays. And that's pretty much the entire process. You just keep repeating with the outside pieces. So now we're going to go to this yellow piece. It takes a little bit for you to get the hang of it. At least it did for me. But it's really fun once you get the hang of it. Fold and line up that edge. Press it down so the glue stays. and move on to the other side. I found this on Pinterest, so if my tutorial isn't the best, you can always look on Pinterest and see if you can find it there. Just Harry Potter craft bookmarks. Of course, with the stick glue, sometimes if you push too hard it'll slip, so then you just gotta pull it back so that it goes where you need it to go. You're probably going to get glue on your fingers, and that's okay. This just keeps on going till you reach the end and you run out of paper. Or you can make it shorter if you want, that's alright too. I'm going to go all the way to the end here, and I'm going to show you how you finish off the craft. I was looking for different craft ideas because I knew I wanted to do something Harry Potter, and I was looking for different ideas, trying to figure out what I could do for Harry Potter. And I knew I wanted to do something with the class colors, or sorry, the house colors. I keep saying class colors. The house colors, and incorporate every single house. So I guess a bookmark is the best way to do it. This would also be good for keeping. This is good for keeping your place, not only in books, but like you could use it for journals or notebooks for class if you need to keep where you are in your notebook. I'll probably use one of mine for that. Probably have to give some of them away because I've got so many. If you guys aren't sure what class you're in, or what house you're in, sorry, the Chatham Library on their Facebook page has the link to, we posted a link to one of the quizzes so you can figure out what house you're in, so you know what colors you can make. I had my mom take the quiz before when she was helping me make these. I took the Pottermore quiz a while back, and I got Gryffindor, so that's my house. My mom took the quiz today, and she is a Hufflepuff. So I had her make the yellow and black one. She helped me out make the Ravenclaw too as well. So it does take a while, like I said, but stay patient. It's a really fun craft. And if you ever need a bookmark, there's no excuse. You can make a Harry Potter one right at home. Getting close to the end here. It gets easier as you keep doing it. I say that, but then it folded wrong. Okay, there we go. You can move and adjust. If it doesn't look quite right, you can always move it around and adjust how it looks. Alright, this one's going to be the last fold here. Got glue on my fingers. It's getting stuck. Alright, once you get to a point where you're done folding and braiding, there's going to be a little bit extra here. This is where you just take your scissors and you cut along the bottom color. So this yellow here, that's my last color I did, the full color. I'm going to cut along the bottom line for both of them, and I'll show you here. Just like that. So that's how you make the bulk of the bookmark. If you want to, you can print out a bunch of the house emblems, like I did. I meant to print them a lot smaller, but they ended up being a lot bigger than I meant to, and that's alright. So, when I printed them out, I cut them out and get as close or not as close as you want to here. There we are, I've got it cut out, and I took a marker and I drew in a border around these other ones here. I think I did gray for Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. I did a silver Sharpie for the Slytherin. I don't have a gold Sharpie, otherwise I would do that, so I'll just go ahead with the gray again. And you don't have to do this, this is what I wanted to do, and I'm doing it on this one as well, just so I have a whole set of them. If you guys don't have a printer at home, you can either try and draw these, or the printers at the library are available. If you go in, you can ask to use one of our computers and print them off, or we can print them off for you. You'll have to ask an adult to come with you, though. It's hard to get to the library without somebody to take you there. Alright, that's the Sharpie border around it just to help solidify it. Now what I'm going to do is you can pick whatever side. As you can tell, it's pretty much reversible. I'll pick this side, and just like that. And I'm going to glue this top one, the house emblem, right at the top there. Just using the glue stick like I did with everything else. Press it there right on top, and just like that, we now have all 4 houses in the form of bookmarks. How awesome is that? How's that for a Harry Potter birthday? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed these crafts. We've got quills made from pens and paper and awesome house bookmarks, just so you can keep your place while you're reading. And I will have to get some more ready for next time. Hope you guys enjoyed these, and stay safe out there. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the weather while it's warm out. See you guys later.